Well, hello, everyone, and welcome here to Bedford. Nick Anastas, Kristen Cameron with you. It's our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week, presented by Beals Insurance. The Bishop Guertin Cardinals and the Bedford Bulldogs, second part of a boys-girls doubleheader here at Bulldog Stadium. And unfortunately, the weather not quite cooperating here. A little cold, a little windy, a little dreary, and a little wet as well, with rain expected to be off and on over the next couple of hours. However, it's not going to stop these two teams from going hard. Two of the best in Division I, two rivals that a lot of people predicted may be the final two standing come June 11th. But, as we know, Portsmouth made the jump up from Division II and handed Bishop Guertin their first in-state loss in 4 years. A 16-11 final last week that caught some by surprise. Bedford, meanwhile, is still undefeated and would love to knock off their rival here on their home field. Meanwhile, the Cardinals obviously looking to get back on the winning track with a win here on the road. So, Kristen, something's got to give, and no matter what happens score-wise, we know these two teams are going to give max effort here tonight.
These teams have some highly, highly skilled players, a lot of Division I prospects on these teams. And it's going to be a game of possessions. It's who can possess the ball, who can make the most of their opportunities. We know both teams can score, both teams can play D. It's just going to, really be who capitalizes on their opportunities.
We talked to head coach Leslie Y of the Cardinals last night and said some of the things they were hoping to focus on tonight was defensive communication and just some of the basics like the ground balls and some of the stuff that maybe in the past she's taken for granted because of the amount of talent on the squad. But there's a lot of new players that need time to get acclimated. And that seems like the case here with Coach Y and her club.
BG graduated a really, really strong senior class, but their young talent is super impressive. They have so much potential once they figure out how to work together, get used to the more physical play at the high school level. The 50-50 ground balls, that's an effort thing. It's, skill doesn't matter when it comes to ground balls. It's all about, sending two to the ball, getting low, and getting physical to come up with those balls.
And for Bedford, as we know, some personnel questions. Sydney Grogan, one of their better players, the senior midfielder headed to Yale, has been kind of spotty health-wise, as we know, with a lingering injury from basketball season left over from over a month ago. But if they're full strength, as we know, Coach Christine Hodgson, as good as it gets with getting her players to rise to the occasion. And year in and year out, they seemingly are on the short list of title contenders in Division I.
Based on what I can see here, it doesn't look like we're going to see Grogan tonight. But, that aside, the star power on this Bedford team with Regan O'Brien and Olivia Matthews and Ellie Enners, they are absolutely going to bring it. They're going to bring the heat. They play super intense. They're used to playing at this high level, and so I'm excited to see a really competitive matchup tonight. Bedford
4-0. An out-of-state win over Kennebunk to open up the schedule. That was a 18-7 blowout. Then a big win over Concord, 19-5. They get their first road win at Dover late last week, 21-9 there. And then always a big win when you beat Pinkerton, especially when you double up the Astros, 14-7. That was a week ago today. So Bedford has had time to rest up for this one. And then BG, the 2-0 start. Road wins at Sauhegan and at Salem. The aforementioned first in-state loss since 2019 came last Tuesday against Portsmouth. 16-11 was that final. And then they had Westwood, who's a two-time champion in their own right, south of the border. Only 2 days rest to get ready for that one, and Westwood comes away with a 12-9 win. So BG in a very unfamiliar spot. If they drop one tonight, that would be their third straight. And Bedford, of course, as we heard from one of their senior leaders last night in tipping, she said, obviously, we've been gearing up for this for a couple of years now, and a win would really mean a lot. Sabrina, of course, the seniors have been a big part of the program, but I know it's just a regular season game, but in this rivalry, right, the games are amplified, and sometimes it doesn't matter what the records are.
Yeah, and we look back at these two teams' history back to 2021, where Bedford and BG matched up in what probably should have been the championship game.
In the semifinals.
In the semifinals, right? And so, these teams have battled for the last few years, and that game could have gone either way. This game could go either way. And so really excited to see, what happens as these teams come out of the gate firing.
We're going to keep one eye on the sky. As we mentioned, rain kind of off and on. Not just today, but really the last few days here in the region. The sun was out earlier this afternoon, but right now we've got overcast skies, and the rain is just starting to come back down once again. The umbrellas are out in the stands. It's a pretty good crowd here, not quite as big as we saw earlier this afternoon. A lot of folks are heading home because of the rain, I'd imagine. But still a pretty good gathering here. And as we know, BG, they travel very well, coming up the road from Nashua, not too far. There's a lot of Bedford residents, as we know, on this Cardinal roster. So a big crowd supporting both teams here today despite the dreary weather.
Yeah, a lot of friends on these teams, people who play together in the off season, play together year round. And so, they're competing against each other today, but these girls know each other well. They know each other's style of play. They know their strengths, their weaknesses. And so I think that there's definitely some intel and some strategy discussed before this game.
There's two schools of thought with that, right? When you face a friend, so to speak, on the other side, sometimes the coaches are concerned that there's too much laughing and playing nice, so to speak. But the other side of the coin is that maybe it brings out the competitive fire amongst some of the more competitive players.
I think we'll see that fiery, competitive side of them tonight. A lot on the line in this game. Again, like you said, early in the season, but, this could have end-of-season implications with playoff seeding.
Yeah.
And so, playing your best and getting that really strong record early, every game matters.
Yeah. And, of course, these two have been, as I mentioned, on the short list of Division I contenders over the last few seasons. You throw Portsmouth, who's had great success over the last few years in Division II. You throw them in Division I this season. They make headlines by beating BG last week. So a lot of folks starting to chalk this up as maybe a three-team race for the first time in a while in Division I.
I don't think they're wrong. There are some other strong programs out there who will definitely compete against these teams, but I think if we look at the front runners, I do see three teams very, very clearly ahead. And they're all matching up early in the season, which is exciting to see. We're going to learn a lot, and it's going to give them a lot of time to improve and find those opportunities to get better throughout the season.
You mentioned the early matchups. We're going to see Portsmouth against Bedford on this field a week from tomorrow, Wednesday the 3rd, part of the foundation game. And we're looking forward to that. Talked with, as we mentioned, Sabrina Tipping last night of Bedford, the senior defender, expected to play a big role tonight for the home team. And we spoke with Portsmouth's Annie Parker as well, as Syracuse commit, and one of the more talented players statewide. So we're looking forward to seeing Portsmouth here at Bedford next week. All right, the starting lineups have now been introduced to this crowd. And again, both head coaches very familiar with one another, Christine Hodgson and Leslie Y for Bedford and BG, respectively. Let's go down to the field for the national anthem. Because it's a boys-girls doubleheader, we had the national anthem earlier, so that's my mistake. So we're just going to get right to business here. As we know, when there's a boys-girls doubleheader here in Bedford, they do the anthem one time at the beginning of the first game. Speaking of the first game, the Bedford boys played host to Bishop Guertin, and the Cardinals came away with a 10-4 lead, a wire-to-wire win for Coach Cameron's crew. All right, what are the keys here, Kristen? You obviously know these two head coaches very well. We spoke with Coach Y last night. We spoke with Coach Hodgson in the past several times. You know their minds. What is the game plan here for these two teams?
I think the first thing that both teams are really keyed on is the draw. Those possessions are going to be so crucial. Winning this first draw, controlling these first few possessions is going to really set the tone for the game. I think overall, both teams, they're highly skilled, really, really strong offensively, and I think we're just looking for who is focused, who is poised, calm, and in control today. I think the team that comes out, displaying that type of experience, they're going to have a leg up on the other.
All right. Bedford going to head left to right in this first half. 2 25-minute halves, as we know. Bishop Guertin slated to counter right to left. Cardinals in their road greens. Bulldogs in their home whites. The officials, a two-person crew, Christy Troupin and Allison Winder. All right. Taking the draw for Bishop Guertin is Madeline Hartsock, the Hartsock, the senior. And it's won here by the Bulldogs, Reagan O'Brien, one of their senior leaders. She's going to slow it down, and we're underway here from Bedford. O'Brien going to fire here early. That shot won't get through. The defense collapses. And now the other way come the Cardinals for the first time. A short pass taken here on the near side by Kira O'Connell, one of these new players that Coach Y had mentioned to us last night. As you mentioned, Kristen, a lot was lost due to graduation last June, and, well, it's an opportunity for some of these returnees to really carve out a role.
Yeah, you see a player like O'Connell, number 5 out there. She's a senior who earned a starting spot for the first time. She's been with the program for a while. She's headed to St. A's next year. She has worked her way up through the ranks. BG last year, they had depth. So although we may not have seen all these players, a lot of them have been with the program. They've been learning the coaching style, the offensive sets, the defensive play, and they're just ready to step up for this big opportunity.
Here's a patient opening trip with just over a minute gone by. Cardinals looking for an opportunity. Going to bring it near side. This is Annalise Campbell, and Campbell was knocked down. Game's first whistle is going to set up, it looks like, a free position shot.
Anna Campbell is going to be dangerous around that crease. She has some of the best stick work that I've seen in a while, and so, they got to match up with her stick-to-stick. I expect a crafty finish here from her.
This one about 11 yards out. Whistle. She's going to charge to her right. Was stripped from behind. Poked loose by Olivia Matthews, one of the veteran juniors for Bedford. Ground ball, though, does keep it at this end as the Cardinals get to it. Shot fake up top. Nothing doing for Cameron Schmidt. And a little stutter step. They're going to give it back over to Hartsock.
You can see BG playing a little bit slow right now. Looks like they're set. They have Redfern. Yep, there she goes.
Shot and score.
2 options there in that play. Redfern could have taken it herself, or they were running cutters off the stack. Redfern, fast enough, saw the opportunity, dodged hard down the middle, left. Nice bounce shot low.
The junior, who I thought played pretty well at the tail end of last year, her sophomore campaign, seemingly got more playing time as the season went on, and showing you why they're able to score it from pretty deep and straight away on a move to her left to make it 1-0 BG.
Impressive win.
It's another one for Bedford, and they're 2-0 at the circle.
This was a weakness for the Cardinals in their last 2 games. So right now, with Bedford winning the first 2 draws clean, I'd look for quick adjustments from the Cardinals because, players like Olivia Matthews on the offensive end.
Going to ring the bell here.
She could do that all day long.
Hit the crossbar. Good play on the scoop up following the miss by Bishop Guertin's Catherine Daly. The defender going to take it back here. Bedford going to back off a little bit on the ride. And that will allow the Cardinals' Abigail Lynn, the freshman, to make her way near midfield. Pass up ahead, on target. Going to hit Hartsock on the run. Hartsock near side. Hooks up with Schmidt. And now the Cardinals will pump the brakes with a 1-0 lead on the board. Just over 3 minutes gone by first half.
We didn't see a lot of Kate Daly in that clear. She was able to get the ball up pretty quickly, but she had one of the most impressive accomplishments of last year. She won 3 state championships in 3 sports. State champion in soccer, basketball, and lacrosse. She is a triple threat athlete.
A winner, as they like to say. Meanwhile, another whistle and another free position shot on the way for Bishop Guertin. Teresa Prunier, the senior, little jab, little bouncer, and a big goal. Well, that's a pretty move. A little stop and start to cash in off the bounce and make it 2-0.
Smart play there by Tess Prunier. She didn't beat her defender right off the line, and so, rather than charging through those 2 players, those sticks potentially drawing an offensive foul, she pulled back, redodged around, and was able to get that shot off.
So this is the start Coach Y was hoping for, right? You're on the road. It's not great weather conditions. You're playing a rival, a tough opponent. You go out and get the first 2. You quiet the crowd and maybe calm the nerves a bit, right?
Yeah, it's a good start being up 2-0, but without winning the draws, this game could very much be 2-0 the other way. And so I think she'll be encouraged by that draw control win.
It's Ariana Kukalakis. Comes from a big lacrosse family, as we know. This one turned over. At Bedford, Sabrina Tipping able to stick her nose in there and wrestle it away. On a good play by the senior. Spoke with her last night after practice. And by the way, if you missed any of those interviews, they're all up under the video section on our YouTube channel, FNLNH Media. Nearly 5 minutes in. Bedford trying to settle down in their attack zone here, trying to get on the board, trailing 2-0.
These teams are both playing slow. I'm surprised we haven't seen them push the fast breaks a little bit. There we go.
There's a shot and score. It comes off the pick. Good play to the left. Matthews. Screen set there by O'Brien. The Cardinal defense couldn't quite recover, and it's 2-1.
That's the benefit of settling at 7v7. When you have sets that you're really confident in, that you practice and can execute well, that was perfect execution there by Olivia Matthews.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you. All right. So another draw on the way. Bedford an early advantage 2-1 in the circle. Hartsock has taken now all 4 for Bishop Guertin. And of course, is Alenia Enners, the senior midfielder in the circle for Bedford. Make it 3-1 Bulldogs.
We talked about Sydney Grogan for Bedford before the game. We are not seeing her out there. She's a player who's typically on the circle, and so I bet BG's excited not to see her out there. We hope she gets healthy and can make a comeback soon, but she's definitely having one of those offensive threats and a strong defender removed from the game is definitely works in the Cardinals' favor.
Shot, score. Well, that's a pretty one. That's Reagan O'Brien. O'Brien, who of course has been a big-time contributor for the last couple of seasons, goes top shelf there to tie the game at 2.
You could hear BG's defense was loud there. They were, doing everything they could, but a player like that with such a hard, powerful lefty shot, that's tough to stop under any conditions. We're going to see a change up on the draw here with Tess Prunier for BG taking this one. Hartsock on the circle.
First switch we've seen from Coach Y. Rain picking up a bit here with now 5.5 gone by. Prunier snags it out of the air. Matthews with her step for step. Going to bring the defender behind the cage. A lot of cutters here, but good job by the Bulldogs in their own right communicating, right, to take that away.
Yeah, they were matching stick to stick really well. And, in that situation there, shooting space is tough to avoid when you see a Dodger like Hartsock going full steam ahead. I'd probably take that foul too. Just, stop ball. She's not a great angle for this free position, so we'll see if they can crash in. 8
yards out here on the near wing. Hartsock. Third free position shot for BG. Going to go all the way to the cage. It's denied. An upstairs stop there by Grace Stewart, junior goaltender. And, anticipated that one, it looked like, the whole way. Able to shut it down on the front porch. And a big stop for the Bulldogs.
That's why you're okay with drawing that shooting space foul in that position. That's not a great angle. Take a shot, and Stewart came up with a big save.
And now the Bulldogs a chance to take their first lead here. They've scored the game's last 2 goals. Matthews. The 2-player game, going to throw it over to Enners. Enners going to come back middle, take advantage of some space. Now going to attack the defense. Spins to her right. Backdoor feed, handled along the near pole, and then poked out. Loose now in the crease. Gets 6 players in the mix trying to dig it out, and it's Enners who comes up with it. Split dodge and a whistle. A good hustle both ways, but in the end, Enners showing off that hand-eye coordination to come up with a big ground ball and now set up Bedford's first free position shot of the night. Trying to give the Bulldogs their first lead. Goes down low. It's denied. Ball loose out in front. Going to take a bounce near side, and finally the Cardinals get to it. That's a big save in net on the heels of a big save on the other end of the field by her counterpart. That's Madeline Eder-Linnell, the sophomore who took over for longtime starter McKenna Ricci, and shows you why she's good enough to fill those shoes with a big stop there.
For a goalie to make a big save like that early in a game, that can be game-changing for them. Build that confidence, especially a stop on a really strong shooter like Regan O'Brien. I'd look to see Maddie Eder-Linnell get hot now.
Meanwhile, the Cardinals back on this end of the floor, field, for the first time in a while here. 8 minutes gone by. They're going to slow it down and try and make the most of this trip and retake the lead. What's Bedford doing here defensively?
They're playing man-to-man defense. Looks like they're communicating well off those switches, and they're causing turnovers. They're playing really big. That was solid team defense.
Ball snagged out of the air by Tipping. Going to draw a whistle, and Cardinals are going to back off here a little bit on the ride. Allow Bedford some time to set up the clear. Game tied at 2. This is Tipping. Draws 2. And a long pass thrown middle of the field, collected by Libby Norris, junior defender. Norris in a full sprint. Going to pump the brakes on the far wing, and again, Bedford ready to set things up here on the attack, looking for their first lead. Now 9 minutes gone by, first half. To her left, Matthews shoots and scores. That's a pretty one from straight away, able to beat the goaltender to her left. 3 unanswered by the Bulldogs. They've got their first lead at 3-2.
One thing that I don't think the Cardinals defense has been ready for is those dominant lefties in O'Brien and Matthews. They can beat you 1v1, and with those strong lefty rips, a lot of players don't have that type of range, and so knowing where they're able to shoot from, they're going to need to get a lot more physical, get on their hands, and not allow O'Brien and Matthews to get their arms away from their body for those power shots.
Matthews 2 goals here in the first half. We saw her younger brother, Bennett, score 2 goals today in the first part of our doubleheader. Of course, their father is the head coach of the football team here at Bedford, Zach Matthews. We got a whistle, and this one awarded to the Cardinals. Nobody going to stop ball here. As coming hauling down the middle there was Kukalakis.
She's a player I'd like to see get involved more in the offense. She last season was a really critical part of their scoring unit. She is a solid dodger. I think she can compare to the likes of Matthews and O'Brien. She's been a little bit quiet, and so I'd like to see her get more involved.
And give it up here to Hartsock in the 2 switch positions. Good defense. Picked up well on the switch by Norris. Now Kukalakis trying to shake off her defender, but nowhere to go. That's Enners, showing you why she's such a good two-way player. Good stop there, good footwork, and we've now played 10 minutes here with Bedford out in front 3-2. Near side. Little shake and bake, Prunier. Got a whistle on the release.
That's going to get called every time. Once you see that extension of the arms on defense, there needs to be a little bit more discipline holding that stick. Again, it doesn't set her up for a great shot, but it is still an opportunity to score.
Yeah, tough angle here from the near wing. Prunier going to hit the gas, goes across the crease, and scores. Well, able to bait the goaltender there, held it about as long as she could before the release came on the far side of the cage. We're tied at 3.
Key to that goal was a great first step from Prunier. She was able to fight to get underneath, great stick protection, and able to finish that one. Tie game. This is a fun one in Bedford.
Yeah, back and forth we go. Bulldogs had scored 3 straight after BG opened up the first 2 goals of the game. Prunier going to tie it at 3 with her second goal. And it comes on a free position shot. This one high up in the air off the draw. Kukalakis in the mix with Matthews for Bedford. Hardsock pushes it ahead and scoops it up on the run. Able to tiptoe her way, stay inbounds along that far sideline. Pumps the brakes under the lights here in Bedford. Light rain continuing to fall. Cardinals have the ball and look to retake the leads for the first time since the early minutes, with now 11 gone by. And we're knotted up at 3 apiece.
Maddie Hartsock, who just came up with that draw control, has been a defender most of her career, and we're really seeing her take on more of a prominent role because she's an athlete. Her athleticism, she can outrun probably anyone on this field, and as she's developed her stick work and has been able to fit into the offense, she's been a big threat of a player.
Have we seen that before where some players get their start on defense, kind of come into their own athletically, and then find a home at other positions?
Sometimes I would say it's actually more common the other way around where, you have maybe an attacker or a midfielder who finds a home on one end of the field. It's tough to play two-way midfield, especially as we think about, these girls heading on to play college lacrosse. You'll see a lot more specialists.
Right.
But these girls who can, run both ways, play at both ends of the field in high school, they're just super talented and athletic, and it takes a unique type to be able to play this type of physical game that long with that much running.
Good play by Tipping. Tipped it, no pun intended, to her teammate Madison Kiley. Kiley gives it right back to her for the clear. Now this is Audrey Purnell, the junior midfielder on the far side. Bulldogs get the personnel they were hoping for and look to settle in, trying to reclaim the lead here as we head towards the midway point of this first half.
Bedford's defense has been really impressive. They have been staying really calm, really in control, and getting those caused turnovers that are resulting in goals on the other end.
There's a split dodge, no slide on the weak side, and Matthews going to take advantage with her 3rd goal here in this first half to put the Bulldogs back in front 4-3. Well, Matthews, so dangerous 1v1 and dangerous 1-on-2 as well, as we see there. That's going to force Coach Y to call an early timeout. Our broadcast is brought to you by Beals Insurance, locations in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Visit BealsInsurance.com. Also by MG Sports Fundraising. That's fundraising made easy. MG Sports Fundraising, the official fundraising partner of Friday Night Lights New Hampshire. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com. Start raising money for your team today. By New Hampshire iPhone Repair. It's done while you wait, and it's backed by their lifetime warranty. Now with 6 locations in southern New Hampshire and on the seacoast. Visit nhiphonerepair.com. By Kristen Cameron's New Hampshire Tomahawks. Showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit nhtomahawks.com and also girls.nhtomahawks.com. By Spectrum Monthly, powerful local advertising solutions. Find out more at spectrummonthly.com. And finally by Roger Howe Real Estate, part of the Bean Group. Call Roger at 603-247-1583 and buy or sell your next home today. Nick had asked this. Kristen Cameron with you. Second part of a busy afternoon, a boys-girls doubleheader here in Bedford On the boys' side, earlier today, Bishop Guertin topped the Bulldogs 10-4 so far here through the first half. It's been back and forth. BG, the first 2 goals, Lauren Redford, Tess Prunier. Less than 4 minutes in, 2-0 Cardinals. Then Bedford awakens with 3 straight. Olivia Matthews, Regan O'Brien, Matthews again to take their first lead. Prunier ties it at 3 with her second goal. It comes on a free position shot. And then a moment ago, Matthews the hat trick to put the home team back out in front 4-3.
I think in that timeout huddle, they're talking about Matthews. She's hot early. BG needs to figure out how to send a slide earlier to her, body her up. Otherwise, she's going to do that all night long.
Good job there by Enners. Strong wing play to initially capture the draw for Bedford, but Cardinals get to an errant pass. And now it's BG trying to work out of their own end here as we move towards 12 minutes to go. Meanwhile, the rain is the other developing storyline here. It continuing to fall, and it's falling about as hard as it has all day at this point here. Kind of hoping to avoid this situation. It was a kind of a dicey 50-50 situation according to the forecast, but not too cold at least.
Not too cold. I think the rain brings a different element to the game. There's something fun about playing lacrosse in the rain with your friends.
Make the game harder, however?
Sticks can be impacted. You know, the sticks can bag out. They might throw a little bit differently. It's going to bounce differently, skip across the field. So those are things to look out for. But these girls can hang in these conditions.
Yeah. Especially on a turf field. Cuts down on some of the slop, so to speak.
Definitely. See Bedford, again, playing really strong 1v1 defense right now. Haven't seen many openings for BG.
Cardinals, to their credit, have been patient, trying to diagnose here against this stout Bedford defense. Here's Prunier, 2 goals here early on. Spins, finds Redford, who finds the back of the net. That's a good off-ball cut, pass on time, and Redford has now scored twice. We're tied at 4 here with just over 11 to go first half.
We saw the Cardinals run that set earlier in the game on the other side, so now you have Prunier as the feeder. She didn't have it 1v1 to dodge. Bedford had that slide ready with the double team. But once you draw that slide as, you know, the attacker, you got to keep your head up because you're going to have someone open in that stack, and that's where Redford was able to come off, catch the ball, and finish.
Pretty good chemistry there, it looked like as well, between 2 veterans.
Good chemistry, good awareness. Being a feeder is such an important skill in lacrosse. If you can have that field awareness and that vision, it's going to level up your play a lot.
Enners against Prunier. Prunier now trying to fight off 2 Bulldogs, and it's Enners who ultimately wins the battle for the home team. Good aggressive play, good clean play here. The officials, to their credit, have let the players play, so to speak, for the most part here now through 15 minutes.
Yeah, I like to say that. I think that was a great no call on that check. It was really clean away from the body, but didn't prove to be that effective with that clear turnover caused in the midfield.
Prunier with numbers goes down the middle, trying to shake off the defender, and again Bedford doing a good job steering her out of the crease or out of the slot. And again, the Cardinals will slow it down. Here's a touch for Campbell. Of course, Katie Campbell, her older sister, came through the program, was a standout. Here's a nice pass in the middle, but again, jammed up on the catch. Ball going to roll out of play. And the officials are going to say, let's stay right here.
Yep. Good call. Came off of a Bedford player's stick.
Some of the Bedford fans are upset. And the officials are now going to say Bedford ball.
Saw that one differently, but
not sure if
looks like they might. Are they going to talk about it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if one official had one call and the other had the other.
That might have been the confusion. It looks like they're really not sure. You can see this official at the 20-yard line seems to be pretty confident in the call. We're going to see which way this one goes.
And again, 2 referees today. Christy Truppen and Allison Winder. Good piece of communication there. And they're going to give it to Bedford. All right. Here's Makita Berry, freshman in a full sprint. Going to get to midfield, and now it's Enners who takes it across the line. Pass, though, is dropped on the far side by Libby Norris. And a costly mistake there as the Cardinals pick it up off the wet carpet and come the other way. Redfern trying to protect against two. The slow down here near side. And look to stay inbounds with now 9 minutes to go first half. Her pass deflected and taken away on the bounce by Purnell.
Enners and Matthews were really relentless in not letting that ball in. See, Enners was able to get a nice little back check off, and it's going to result in offensive possession.
Penners thought about going the entire way, but steered out of danger by the defender, Catherine Daly. Both teams have shown patience, and Bedford are going to show some more here as they pull it out. Ticking down towards 8 minutes to go until halftime. Game tied at 4. Neither team is led by more than 2 goals.
The high school level, they have no reason not to be patient. There's no shot clock like there is at the collegiate level, and so there's really no incentive to play fast. If you have a strong, settled V7 set in motion, these are the types of situations that you can practice for.
O'Brien with her toes just inside the 16-yard line. This one a deep one if she does decide to pull the trigger, will not. And now trying to hang on to the ball. Throws it over the head of Matthews, who's going to have to hustle to keep it in play, and does. With maybe 18 inches to spare here on the near sideline. Now going to come right at the defender. To her left. The lefty has cashed in 3 times in this first half. Backdoor pass, though, nobody home. And taken away on the bounce there by the goaltender, Madeline Eder-Linnell.
See the Cardinals defense starting to figure it out there. Matthews had that right to left split. They know she's a strong lefty. Saw Jordan Gable hedge a little bit earlier, slide, and they were able to stop that.
Got a whistle here. It comes from the trail official. And again, some of the fans here for both teams upset. But that one was stopped dead.
Yeah, and issued a yellow card to Regan O'Brien. So she was sent off the field, in a slash check like that. If you follow all the way through, that's when you're going to get called for that yellow card. Those checks from behind need to be away from the body and a quick motion. That one we saw her follow all the way through, and so that's going to sideline her.
It's the first player on either team to take a seat in the penalty box. See if the Cardinals can cash in. They're looking to break open this 4-4 tie and retake the lead. Another whistle. And another penalty here coming against Bedford. Or another violation, rather.
So in this situation, you have to make a decision what to do. You're a player up, and so you can pull it out and work that player up opportunity. Or if you're really confident in your shooting ability, take that chance on the free position.
It's an 11-yard attempt. She's going to run right to the cage and misfire over the top. Quick restart. Cutter is Hartsock, closed out by tipping on a pretty good stick play. Ground ball collected again, though, by the Cards, and now Kukulakis up top is going to tiptoe. And again, another violation here on the way.
I bet the Bulldogs get called for 3-second violation. I didn't see any fouls inside the 8, and so, yeah, just a minor foul. Redfern's going to get it on the 12. Probably look to move this ball quickly.
Got Hartsock to her left, and I believe Prunier to her right. Her 2 teammates. Bedford, meanwhile, continuing to communicate well defensively. Redfern going to put it in play without a shot. Taken over near side by Schmidt, back up top. Fired left side. Prunier looking for a screen. And we got a moving screen here. So the Bedford D holds pat, so to speak. Stands pat. They still got O'Brien over there in the box, but now they have the ball back as we move inside of 6 minutes to go first half. Still tied at 4.
That's a huge, huge stop. Being a player down in a tie game in these conditions, if you can come up with a stop like that, we're gonna see momentum shift a little bit right here.
Enters a good clear. Took on 3 Cardinals there to draw the whistle. And now the Bulldogs in no hurry. As Matthews, who has led everybody with 3 goals in this first half, in no apparent hurry here, deep on the near wing. Kukalakis in her shadow, now going to come out and challenge here. It's a good one-on-one. Matthews says, I'm all set. Going to go to Enters, far side, and now O'Brien is back on the field. A good dodge. O'Brien going to fire. A little too high there in a crowd. We'll stay with Bedford as we move inside of 5 minutes now, first half. Good pass. Enters, able to find Matthews for the bouncing score. Another good off-ball cut there. And Matthews having a first half to remember against her rivals. 4 goals, Bedford back on top 5-4.
Looks like that was Maddie Kiley on the feed down low. Really smart heads-up play.
Yeah, you're right.
From Kiley. We saw her older brother, Timmy, suit up for the Cardinals in Game 1 today.
Yeah, he's one of their better players. On his way to Holy Cross. Or no,
Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart.
Yep.
Mistake that. I always mistake those two for.
Yeah, we have a strong pipeline to Holy Cross as well. Prunier on the field headed to Holy Cross.
Right.
We have Connor Bouvier headed to Holy Cross.
Yep, on the boys' side. So, all right, this one up in the air. Both players reach overhead for it. It's knocked down. It's up for grabs and ultimately secured by Kiley. Right on cue for Bedford. Bulldogs a 5-4 lead inside of 5 minutes here until halftime. Coming up at halftime, a look back at the first half, stats, highlights, analysis. I'm going to have a slice of pizza off air. We'll see if Kristen will join me. And then we'll get to the out-of-town scoreboard as well. That's all coming up in a few moments at halftime. This one's been back and forth. As expected, 2 of the top teams in Division I vying for early positioning in the D1 standings. Bedford trying to stay undefeated. BG trying to shake off a 2-game skid. This shot from O'Brien is stopped down low. A good save there by Eder Linnell, who seemingly read that one the whole way. Going to bring this clock inside of 4 minutes. Eder Linnell giving some problems here on the ride. Finally gets rid of it near side. And then a good catch here at midfield for the clear by Schmidt. Schmidt gets inside of Kiley and forced to give it up to Prunier, swings it behind the cage. Cardinals looking to tie here, 3.5 to go. Rain continuing to fall here in Bedford.
This is where I'd look to make an adjustment, knowing how solid Bedford's settled 1v1 defense has been. I try to catch them off guard, play a little bit faster, catch them when they're unsettled. Probably, in that transition with Schmidt streaking down. I'd push the pace a little bit here, try to change it up.
Haven't seen too many transition opportunities really either way in this first half.
Both teams have looked to settle the ball. Like you said, they've been patient.
Another patient possession here inside of 3 minutes. Redfern surveying far wing. Gonna skip it across. And now Kukalakis trying to get herself going. Going one-on-one here, forced out by Enters. Lobs a pass inside, it's knocked away. Trying to find Hartsock and a whistle. It's going to set up BG with another free position shot. Let's get some of the Bedford fans upset as the whistle goes against the junior defender, Libby Norris.
It's one of those situations, if I'm Norris, she's right on Hartsock, she's right there, but instead of going for that check, I just go stay stick to stick. You don't need to go for the ball in that situation.
Shot came out a little awkwardly there. Hartsock may have been hit on the release. It's kept in bounds by her teammate. And now it's Campbell given some room to operate behind the cage. Inside of 2 minutes. Campbell, the swoop around, draw the slide, finds Prunier on the doorstep, and the ball is going to roll in for the goal. Well, not quite sure if the goaltender, Grace Stewart, even saw that one. It kind of came out at half speed, a little bit of an awkward angle, not really a clean release. And the goaltender couldn't quite track it down before it ends up in the back of the net, and we're tied at 5.
Not a clean release, but a goal that will still count. I thought that was a great play by Campbell. You can see she's two-handed player from behind. She dodged hard left, was able to roll back to her right hand, and again, another heads-up play, saw the cutter. Even though Prunier, didn't quite handle the ball the way we would have expected, resulted in a goal nonetheless.
Prunier now with a hat trick of her own. Matthews has led the way for Bedford with 4 goals. Prunier now a team-high 3. And again, we're tied at 5 with 1:49 to go until halftime. Well, the rain is really coming down hard now. Meanwhile, this one is still up for grabs off the draw. Secured by BG. Good play by Kyra O'Donnell. Now 2 players hit the turf, and it's an offensive foul against Kukalakis.
That's a tough one when you're dodging like that with, full steam ahead. She was going hard. It's hard to stop your feet. I could see that call going either way, but I do agree with the charge in that situation.
Some of the Cardinal fans who made the trip up Route 3 from Nashua did not like that call at all. Meanwhile, Norris, good job on the clear for Bedford. Going to give it over for Kylie as we move inside the final minute first half. Bedford, are you thinking last shot here, or is it too early?
Based on how they've been playing this game, I'm thinking last shot. I could see them working it around a little bit, trying to get the defense off balance. But that's, with 40 seconds left in possession, that's probably not the shot I'd settle for.
It ends up wide, and now it's Bishop Guertin possession, so they may have a chance here for the final shot of the first half. We're down to 30 seconds. Still tied at 5, and another whistle as Hartsock comes across midfield.
We're going to see another yellow card here issued to Audrey Purnell.
Yeah, it's against Bedford. Purnell, the junior midfielder. Well, it's been kind of a physical game. We knew it would be. Both teams going with max effort here, but there's that fine line you got to walk, right? We've seen Bedford cross that line now a couple of times.
Yeah, physical game, but honestly, just a lack of discipline. It's you don't need to swing your stick in a situation like that. You're probably not going to stop Hartsock from behind regardless, and so I would just control the stick a little bit more. No need to put yourself in this situation where you're a player down.
Final 5 seconds. Redfern gets the step, shot, and score. Going to beat the goaltender Stewart low and to the left and put the Cardinals out in front here. 6-5 with less than 4 seconds remaining. A timely goal for the visiting Cardinals.
Redford had been a little bit quiet as a Dodger. We've seen her, being able to play off ball, but that's what she can do. She's showing us what she's capable of, and I expect to see more of that in the second half.
Redfern with a hat trick of her own. 3 from Redfern, 3 from Prunier. So, final 4 seconds here. A big-time EMO goal for Redfern, and that's going to do it for the first half. A back and forth. First 25 minutes as we expected. The Cardinals carving out the slimmest of leads. 6-5 after 25 here in Bedford. Coming up, a look back at that first half with stats, highlights, analysis, out-of-town scoreboard, the whole 9 yards on the other side of the break. Bishop Guertin 6, Bedford 5. You are watching our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week, presented by Beals Insurance.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
Halftime on a rainy Tuesday night in week number 3 of the 2023 NHIAA Girls Lacrosse schedule. Nick Anastas, Kristen Cameron with you. Two of the Titans, heavyweights, shortlist contenders in Division I battling here. And just a 1-goal difference through 25 minutes. BG, a 6-5 lead. After they scored the first 2 goals of the game. Looked like it was the start that head coach Leslie Y was looking for. Lauren Redfern, Tess Prunier. Less than 4 minutes in, 2-zip Cardinals. That's when Bedford came alive. Olivia Matthews, first of 4 goals in that first half. Brought Bedford back within a goal at 2-1. Regan O'Brien, 2-2. Matthews, 3-2. Bedford putting together a bit of a run about midway through that first half. Then Tess Prunier settles in with a free position shot to tie the game at 3. Prunier's second. Matthews gets another to put Bedford back out in front a moment later, 4-3. We're knotted up again at 4-4. Lauren Redfern second. And then both teams are quiet for a minute. In fact, 5 minutes go by before we get another goal from Matthews to put Bedford out in front 5-4. Tess Prunier scores just inside of 2 minutes to even the game again, this time at 5 apiece. And then on an EMO goal in the final seconds, Redfern's hat trick is the difference right now. 6-5 BG as we get set for the second half here in Bedford.
This game was everything I thought it would be, except for the rain. I was not expecting this heavy of rain, but the competitive play has absolutely been there.
Yeah, I was hoping to avoid this kind of a scenario where it is raining hard at this point. Of course, the sun is set and the temperatures are starting to drop as well. But as you said, if you're playing the game, your body is going full speed. You're fully immersed in the competition. Sometimes you don't even remember it's raining, right?
Yeah, I think they're just having fun. I mean, it's a competitive game against 2 rivals under the lights. What more could you ask for?
Right.
Just water.
Yeah, not going to kill you, as we know, but again, as you highlighted, can impact the game a little bit here and there with the wet equipment, the wet ball, etc.
Yeah, I think this is where you start to maybe alter your game plan just a little bit. Some of those longer passes, especially in the clear and in transition, probably aren't the smartest move. You don't know how that ball is going to come out of your stick. If you're going to be able to catch it. And so I think they'll mostly be able to play the same game, just probably cleaning up some of those longer passes.
First minute gone by, second half. Bedford playing kind of a patient style in that first half. I know patience has been the word of the game of the day so far, so to speak. But was that something Coach Hodgson, you think, stressed against a team like BG, or is it just the way the game is shaking out?
Yeah, well, they're actually Audrey Purnell is about to be released from the penalty, so they're just killing off this penalty right now. So that's why we see them. We saw Redfern score that goal at the end of the first half, and Bedford, that was a huge draw control for them because they were able to kill off.
I forgot all about the penalty, to be honest with you. Here's a shot and a miss. Goes off the post.
That looked like that could have hit the net.
Yeah, the Bedford fans are saying that was a goal. The officials are not going to stop this thing, however. And a few more gripes are being heard here from this Bedford contingent, but nonetheless, it's close one way or the other. Matthews inches away from getting her 5th. And now instead, BG a chance to match the largest lead of the game. It came in the first 4 minutes when BG jumped out in front 2-0. Chance to go up here 7-5.
I'd love to see that play again. I don't know. Sometimes it looks like it hits the net or can just tuck right up inside the crossbar. But either way, Matthews got open for a great shot.
And of course, led the way in that first half with 4 goals.
See BG again, similar style of play to their first half. Really patient, working the ball around. Love to see them run some of those sets that they were with, a Dodger, pretty isolated and running cuts off a stack. Actually, looks like asking you shall receive. That's exactly what we're going to get right here from Redfern. This was very effective in the first half.
Here comes the slide. And a double team is going to drive Prunier all the way to the near sideline. Pretty good ride there by Matthews, the defender this time. Spin move, Schmidt, shot, and score. That one may have been stopped initially and then rolled off the goaltender, Grace Stewart's stick. And into the net, BG up 2 for the second time tonight, 7-5.
Do think Stewart got a piece of that and was unlucky, but a great move by Cam Schmidt. Really smart play to roll back, demonstrating again that athleticism, awareness where her defenders were on her body. Was able to push the Cardinals ahead by 2.
So dating back to the final 2 minutes of the first half, that's now 3 unanswered by Bishop Guertin, as the first goal of the second half comes with just about 3.5 gone by. And an early movement here against Matthews is going to give BG the ball. Kukalakis wasting no time. Steps on the gas. Short pass left side. Hartsock closed out well by Enners. Nothing happening there for the Cardinals. And they'll pull it back out and reset. A chance to go up by 3 for the first time. Leading here 7-5.
We look at personnel on the field right now. I have not seen, I don't know if any substitutions made during this game. And so these are girls who are going to be out on this field for 50 minutes. And so, the first half you can get away with that, but we'll have to see how this affects play in the second half with how up and back this game has been.
Got to work the legs a little harder, I think, with the wet turf too, right? A little bit?
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily going to affect the legs, but you could be chasing a ball down that you're not expecting to, those errant passes. It's like we're seeing BG run a new set up top, a little 3-man weave. Weren't able to get past Bedford again, who's just had really solid D, solid communication.
And a good solid play there by Makita Berry, who forced it out, the freshman. May have given the initial step there, but recovered well and ultimately pokes it loose. Bulldogs get to the ground ball. They get the clear. And now they're looking to get to work on attack with 5 minutes gone by. Bulldogs trailing by 2. Carried in that first half by Olivia Matthews, the junior, with 4 of Bedford's 5 goals. Shot here from Enners. Goes wide. A pretty good cut to set that one up. Now a battle along the sideline. Poke loose and controlled by Bedford's Natalie Deenan. Whistle is going to go against the Bishop Guertin defender, Haley LeBlanc.
Haley LeBlanc is one of those defenders that you just don't want. You don't want on you in that situation. She is really aggressive, gets those good checks off, super physical and loud.
O'Brien denied. Pretty good save there, Eda Linnell. Sophomore starting to warm up, it seems like, with another save there.
She's been ready for those shots. You can see the Cardinals defense has made those adjustments that they needed to after, just pretty much getting run by for the first few goals from Bedford.
Meanwhile, Hartsock streaking down the middle, looks for Schmidt to her left. And again, the attack ready to set something up here. Meanwhile, turf getting a little sloppy at this point. You can see some of the wet spots starting to form as the rain continues to come down hard. Meanwhile, they're going to wipe this shot off, which went in, by the way, from Prunier, but not going to count. It's a violation against the Cardinals that'll give Bedford the ball. Just over 6 minutes gone by. Bulldogs trying to work out of their own end, trailing 7-5.
We've seen a couple of those offensive fouls called with a moving screen. It's really important to set your feet, make sure your stick is between your shoulders. That's one of those, discipline things that you can clean up. It's a play like that doesn't seem like a big deal, but that's a turnover and an opportunity for the Bulldogs.
And as you said, we've seen it now a couple of times. So as a player, you got to adjust to the way the officials are calling the game, right?
Exactly. Different officials are going to be keyed in on different things, and now that's something that they're clearly looking for, and so making that adjustment is important.
Little pick and roll far side, defended well by the Cardinals, and now O'Brien looking to get something going. A little high there on the shot attempt. Backed up well by Deenan. And Bedford back to work here.
You could see the Cardinals, they're ready for O'Brien at this point. Earlier in the game, she was making that right to left split and had a pretty open lane for a good shot. They're hedging, sliding much earlier. They have her number and know what they need to do.
I'm sure that was something Coach Y emphasized.
Yeah, really
either at
solid
halftime
adjustment.
or before, yeah. Backdoor shot denied. Again, the goaltender had a bead on that play. Eder Linnell back-to-back saves, and BG keeps Bedford away yet again to preserve this 7-5 lead now 8 minutes into the second half. Clearing it may be a different story, however. After an errant pass, it is recovered. And now trying to fight off two Bulldogs along the near sideline is LeBlanc. The official going to help her out with a whistle. And LeBlanc set to restart here along the near sideline.
O'Brien was pretty physical in that ride. The key there is just holding that body position. You don't need to have that horizontal stick, extend the arms. You're going to get called for that pretty much every time at the high school level.
It was a good downhill dodge. And now again, the attack trying to diagnose here. BG looking for breathing room. A 7-5 lead on the board. They've scored 3 straight. Nearly 9 minutes in second half. Backdoor. Pass dropped out in front of the cage, and now it's up for grabs. Tipped out near side. A number of players trying to get a line on it. Still going. Enters, is going to collect, hear the whistle. And Bedford's going to be given the possession here in their own end.
That's a pass I probably wouldn't make to a crowded area inside the 8. You see the conditions are crazy. The rain's pouring down. Just a lot going on.
Yeah.
I think BG's had better opportunities than that. And so, they've been really patient. I think could have used a little bit more of that in that set.
Yeah. Rain continuing to come down hard, and it's starting to get cold here, at least for us here that are soft up in the booth. Not these players, though. They're warriors. They are soaked from head to toe. Get a good look at it now with some of those uniforms starting to get heavy, I'd imagine, with all the rainy weather we've seen. All right. Final reminder, our broadcast tonight brought to you by Beals Insurance, locations in Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Visit BealsInsurance.com. Also by MG Sports Fundraising. That's fundraising made easy. MG Sports Fundraising, the official fundraising partner of Friday Night Lights New Hampshire. Visit MGSportsFundraising.com. Also by NH iPhone Repair. It's done while you wait, and it's backed by their lifetime warranty. Now it's 6 locations in southern New Hampshire and on the seacoast. Visit NHiPhoneRepair.com. By the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NHTomahawks.com and also girls.NHTomahawks.com. Also by Spectrum Monthly, powerful local advertising solutions. Find out more at SpectrumMonthly.com. And finally by Roger Howe Real Estate, part of the Beam Group. Call 603-247-1583 today. Nick Anastas, Kristen Cameron, and the rest of our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire crew here on a rainy Tuesday night. It's been a fun day. Boys on this field earlier, part of the boys-girls doubleheader. BG a wire-to-wire win. And they took care of business by a final of 10-4. Bulldogs slipped to 2-2 on the boys' side as BG improves to 4-1. What's at stake in this game? Well, after a back-and-forth first half, the Cardinals, after suffering a rare, and I mean rare, in-state loss last week against Portsmouth, trying to get back above the 500 mark with a win today to improve to 3-2. Bedford, of course, trying to stay undefeated and atop the D1 standings. If they can win today, they would be 5-0. All right, out of the timeout, let's see what Coach Hodgson has in mind here. I'm sure she drew something up as the Bulldogs look to cut the deficit in half. Pass up top, batted down initially. O'Brien recovers, and there's a whistle that's going to go against the Cardinals.
There's one thing that this Bedford team has going for them, not just their amazing players, but their coaching staff is so strong. In addition to Coach Hodgson, Coach Mel Catenza, former head coach at Derryfield, and they're assisted by Charlotte Haggerty, who is a former national champion at James Madison University, which is where Olivia Matthews will head. So we have all the connections over there. Really, really impressive coaching staff.
Shot and score. It comes on the free position shot for Regan O'Brien, and Bedford is back within a goal. It's O'Brien's second. And we've seen now one free position goal each way tonight for each team.
Free positions can really change the game if you are good at drawing them. Like that's a strategic component of the game. If you can set yourself up on offense to draw free positions and practice executing them, you can see how they work to your advantage. There's actually a proposal at the collegiate level right now to get rid of the 8-meter shots.
And what do you think of that?
I think it's interesting. I think it should be explored. You see the way it changes the game. It's a different skill to develop. I think the alternative that's being discussed, the player up, player down situation, is going to be interesting to explore.
That would make the game a little similar to the men's rules, right?
Exactly. Creating more parity between the two.
All right. Matthews, a good job there on the clear. Going to slow it down, and again, we're getting another burst of wet weather here, as we're borderline monsoon conditions now in Bedford. All that's missing is those 100-mile-an-hour winds, but it is getting windy, it is getting cold, and it's getting wet. And guess who's getting hot? Regan O'Brien. Her second straight, a hat trick, and we're tied at 7 here as we near the midway point second half.
This is a little more than April showers. This is an April downpour.
Yep.
But it has not phased O'Brien. She has been killer with those low shots. Came out of halftime with a great burst of energy. That's exactly what that Bedford team needed to tie this at 7.
Good dodge to get it off, too.
Oh, yeah. She's a really, really quick first step.
Makes a move to her left, as we see there. And the rest history. 7-all. Bedford 2 in a row, both by O'Brien. If you're just joining us, Olivia Matthews, the game's high scorer with 4 goals for Bedford. But O'Brien, her teammate right behind her with 3. Got another whistle and another violation here against the Cardinals. And again, Bedford, a good job on the clear with some of these high arcing passes. Looking to get something going on the run. The hot hand is O'Brien. Shot there, about a foot wide. But we'll stay with the Bedford Bulldogs here.
Like to see O'Brien. She's a really strong lefty, not afraid to take that shot righty. It was a little bit off, but she's a threat in both hands.
Cardinals going to back off a bit here and give Bedford some room on the perimeter. Enner's going to spin, try to split dodge, but does draw the whistle. Well, pulled off the footwork, lost the ball, but the whistle is going to set up a potential go-ahead goal here on the free position.
Yeah, ref's going to call that one for a check towards the body. She was running through sticks, but for safety purposes, can't allow a check like that.
Enner's working hard on both ends, rewarded there with her first goal. And Bedford has now scored 3 straight to take an 8-7 lead at the midway point here, second half.
Bedford's hot right now. They came out of halftime with something different that we didn't see in the first half. I mean, shots are falling right now. They're playing a little faster. Not as settled as we would have seen, drawing those opportunities, capitalizing on the fouls, and they're winning draws, which is making a big difference.
At what point do you call a timeout if you're coach? Why?
No reason to yet. I mean,
let them figure it out?
Let them figure it out. See if we can get a stop here. I'd say maybe after this play, if we can't send the ball back the other way or win the next draw control, that's when I'd bring it in to talk about it.
Bulldogs win another draw. And are looking for spacing here. Matthews wants a one-on-one, I think. Going to come middle, going to fire on the move. Going to end up a couple inches high. Backed up, though, by 2 of her teammates on the baseline to keep it at this end. Now inside of 12 minutes to go, second half. And from here on out, I'd imagine both teams will have one eye on the clock as that starts to factor in here.
This is a situation that BG's been in before. The last 2 games, they've played from behind. We talked to Coach Y last night.
Right.
You know, she talked about coaching from behind and, you know, just keeping the team focused, looking ahead, you know, putting some of those bad plays behind them. And so we'll look to see if they can learn from that experience and use that to their advantage in this situation.
Yeah, she's a big believer in the one play at a time, right?
Yep.
Control what you can and see where you end up. Meanwhile, Enner's ball betrays her out of the stick, and it's taken on the move by Schmidt for BG. It's the stop the Cardinals were hoping for. They get it as we approach 11 minutes now remaining in regulation. Meanwhile, Schmidt is still on the move. Schmidt, pass knocked down, hoping to find Redford on the near wing, but Enners makes another outstanding defensive play for Bedford. She has played well on both ends of the field. Meanwhile, this one launched overhead by Norris, reeled in by Deenan. Deenan trying to wake her way towards the middle. Defender falls down. Deenan's got the step, still cradling near side, going to take it behind the cage. Bulldogs had numbers for a moment, now they don't. And thus they'll pull it back out and let Matthews handle there, the junior.
That was
the far side. Go ahead, Kristen.
That was a tough one for the Cardinals. It's, you know, you're give up 3 goals in a row, finally a big stop, send it the other way, have that momentum pushing down the field, but just not a smart pass. Especially, you know, we talk about the conditions a lot. You got to be a little bit more controlled, make those safer passes. And the possession game, we talked about that from the beginning. It's all about those possessions and making the most of every opportunity, which Bedford's doing right now.
Yeah. Bulldogs an 8-7 lead. We're inside of 10 minutes, and Matthews has got another. Boy, kind of a sneaky shot there, creeping around the far side pole. May have caught the goaltender by surprise. That's goal number 5 for Matthews, her first since halftime. And Bedford now officially on a run. 4 unanswered. They lead by 2 for the first time.
Olivia Matthews with that play, just demonstrating her versatility. You typically see her dodging from up top, and in that case, she was a threat from behind. I don't think, you know, watching that replay, Hartsock wasn't ready for her. Didn't think that she'd release the ball that close to goal line extended, and so she just let her get underneath.
So tough to read, I'd imagine, as a goaltender, right? I mean, you've got to make the right decision time after time. And it could be tough to diagnose in real time, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and I think, too, especially, you know, you're not expecting that situation,
right,
and you're unfamiliar with Matthews in that position, and the defender wasn't bodied up against her, wasn't treating her as a threat from there, but, I mean, she can score from anywhere on the field.
She's proven that today. 4 goals in the first half. If you're just joining us, Bulldogs trailed 2-0 early, rattled off 3 straight to take their first lead about midway through the first half. Back and forth we went until Lauren Redfern scored with 3 seconds to go on an EMO to give BG a 6-5 halftime lead. They extended that to 7-5 in the first couple of minutes of the second half, but as of late, it's been Bedford's role. O'Brien, Enners, Matthews, and now another from O'Brien. Her 4th goal, and the Bulldogs starting to get some separation here with 9 minutes and change remaining. It's 10-7.
Bulldogs are attacking that side of the field. You can see, we talked about Regan O'Brien being a versatile righty-lefty player. She dodges hard up around the crease, lefty, turns back, a little bit of question mark move, and is able to finish that righty shot. Tides have turned in this game.
Yep.
Momentum is definitely on the side of the Bulldogs.
Well, the 5 unanswered goals is the game's longest run, and the 3-goal lead for Bedford is the largest lead either way at 10-7. And again, BG not out of time yet, but the clock starting to work against the Cardinals, who came in hoping to avoid their 3rd straight loss.
We're seeing some personnel changes for the Cardinals for the first time all game. Skylar Naftali, number 20, entered the game and was on the circle for the Cardinals.
Meanwhile, the wind picking up and just blew into the press box here. So my pizza got wet, and so did my notes. But we're going to soldier on because we've got nothing to really complain about with those players down there.
I give these fans credit for,
For
sticking out
yeah.
the conditions.
Yeah.
We see some bunch of boys from BG, the lacrosse team, stayed for this game. Awesome to see that support. Bedford's got a good crowd as well.
Yep. And, of course, the parents who never get enough credit. Meanwhile, BG, a much-needed goal here.
Prunier.
It's her fourth. And it comes on the heels of Bedford's 10th, so just when the Bulldogs opened up a 3-goal lead for the first time, it's cut right back down to 2 just seconds later. A pretty good shot there from the far wing.
Yeah, great finish. Picked that top right corner. Great shot placement. Prunier is one of those players. I had a feeling she was going to be a go-to player this season. I watched her play in the Tomahawks Winter Indoor League. You could tell she was dominant there, and it's really carrying over into season.
All right. Another win for Bedford on the draw circle. That's been an advantage for the most part.
Has been. Has not been a strength for the Cardinals this season. And, this is a game of possessions, and Bedford is dominating that right now. And I think now up 2, I don't expect them to slow this down too much. It's still going to be important for them to continue to play hard, but I think they're going to need to be really smart with the ball right now.
Little tiptoe. It's Prunier trying to shake off the defender. Here comes the slide. 2 defenders in the area. Prunier pushed out of the box. Back up top for Schmidt. Schmidt, eyes on the cage. Given room by the defender. Comes down near side as we move inside. 4 minutes to go. Redfern, 2 goals in that first half now coming downhill. Tough shot there on a submarine release. Going to go wide of the goal. Goes out of bounds behind the cage. But again, BG the first to it. Prunier now on the restart. Going to skip right side, back to the cage, trying to shake off the defender, Abdel Saeed. Pushes her out of the box. Prunier still with it. Draws a second defender. Up top again. Here is Schmidt. Schmidt spins, lost the ball. Picked up by Bedford. Bulldogs get the stop they want. It's Enners now on the run, right to left, inside of 3.5 to go. Bedford with the ball in a 10-8 lead. Near side. Rifled up the field. Deenan going to knock it down, pick it up. Goal line extended, back near side wing. Bedford in no hurry with a 2-goal lead. They're going to pull it out and look to run some clock here as we move towards 3 minutes remaining.
This is the point in the game now where Bedford's they're going to slow it down. They have no incentive to go to cage. They're going to run this clock down. They have some great ball handlers. We're going to see BG press out in a really high-pressure defense. That's going to expose some openings, though. Exactly like that. That high-pressure defense is what BG needed to launch into. When you see Bedford trying to stall, they went for it.
I think you have to. You have to, right?
Have to.
Time and score forces you to take some risks. That time, it's a risk that ends up as a reward as the Cardinals get the ball back. But again, the clock working against them, down to 2.5. Still trailing here 10-8. Bedford is played out in front most of the way, and they've got the lead here on the heels of 5 unanswered in this second half. Meanwhile, shot there, goes upstairs and wide. Kukulakis may have been jammed up on the release. Pretty good defense, a couple of defenders in the area. It stays here with the Cardinals. Another errant pass, going to roll deep on the far side wing where it's scooped up by Schmidt. And then Schmidt can't quite hook up with Prunier. Prunier does recover, though, in the nick of time just in front of that far sideline. Now coming back middle. Bodied up on her way to the box. Going to rifle it back up top. We're inside of 2 minutes. Cardinals got to hurry. Thought about a shot there, but it won't get off. And now Redfern, goal line extended near side. Final 100 seconds. Looks for a cutter. Has Prunier, reels it in, but is closed out very quickly by Tipping. Bedford going to switch. Abdel Saeed now picks up Prunier on the far side. Prunier trying to shake her off. Still with her back to the goal. Up top, Redfern. Down to 1:20 remaining. Whistle. And what's this, Kristen? It's against Bedford, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a call against Matthews. Just a horizontal stick into the body.
We had unadulterated play there for quite a while. But finally, the whistle catches up to Bedford. All it is, though, is really a restart in the end for BG. Clock now is winding down to 1:10. And Pronier's in trouble. Stripped away. Is that Matthews or El Said?
Looks like
it is Matthews. Yep. Showing you the two-way skills. And now trying to avoid 3 defenders along the sideline. Finds Enners in the middle of the field. Now we have a whistle and a timeout here from Bedford.
It's like a timeout, Bedford.
Yep.
That was an impressive 2 minutes of defense.
Yeah.
After, Bedford on their offensive end tried to kill the clock. They had a quick turnover, but they were able to kill it with their defense. They were really, really solid 1v1. Everything that BG tried, whether feeds inside, they were all over it. 1v1, they were all over it. That was impressive lockdown defense at a time where it really mattered.
Looked like the communication and the switching were on point, and that's what's going to take you deep into June, right? It's the old cliche, offense wins games, defense wins championships. And that may have been true on that possession there for Bedford. Bulldogs looking to stay unbeaten. And in the minds of many of these players would get really a milestone win over their rivals. We talked with Sabrina Tipping last night, one of the senior defenders, saying she's been working for over 3 years for a chance to beat BG. And if they can close the deal here over the final 54 seconds with a 2-goal lead, well, that would go, I'm sure, a long way towards clubhouse morale with this Bulldog program, right?
I'd be really encouraged coming out of this game.
Yeah.
They can win the draw. They can score goals in many different ways. They have their dodgers. They've had great looks from behind the cage, and they can stop ball on defense. This has been a really well-rounded performance for the Bulldogs that are clearly a well-coached team.
And now it's a game of keep away. Bedford looking to tick down the final 40 seconds here. Trying to avoid everybody as enters. Spins away, still from one, now two defenders. Slide comes over. She's just going to split that with a spin move. O'Brien with it, looks over her shoulder at the clock. We're down to 25 seconds.
There's a player that I want to have the ball. It's Regan O'Brien. She's going to be able to run this around.
Final 10 seconds. Bedford, a big win for the program here. Head coach Christine Hodgson and company are going to get it done under monsoon-like conditions here in late April. 10-8 is the final. The Bulldogs are going to celebrate on the field as they stay undefeated and improve to 5-0 with this 10-8 victory. Cardinals are going to slip below 500 to 2-3. Coming up, quick break, and then back for a quick post game here. 10-8 the final. We'll get Kristen's final thoughts in a moment. You are watching our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week, presented by Beals Insurance.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
I'm not sure, though.
Well, wet and wild here on a Tuesday night. Bedford a 10-8 victory over Bishop Guertin in the latest chapter of the rivalry between these two programs. Nick Anastas, Kristen Cameron with you. I knew I was going to do that.
That's right. I'm named after him.
We saw a very competitive first half, right? 2-0 was the BG score. Redfern and Prunier, less than 4 minutes in, set the tone for the visitors. Then Bedford, a mini run, 3 in a row. Matthews, O'Brien, Matthews again. And then back and forth we went until Lauren Redfern scored her second goal on an EMO with just 4 seconds to go. That was the difference at halftime, 6-5 BG. That lead jumped out to 7-5 in the opening minutes. And then Bedford got hot, Kristen, 5 in a row. Regan O'Brien with 2 straight enters. Matthews, O'Brien again. BG would get 1 more in the closing minutes, but not enough. 10-8 is the final. All in all, Olivia Matthews with 5 goals, Regan O'Brien with 4. Quite the 1-2 punch for Coach Hodgson. And in the end, Bedford stays undefeated as some say the year of the Bulldog continues here in the spring of 23. What do you think tonight?
I thought it was a strong performance from both teams, but Bedford was advantaged in a few key areas. I would say draw controls were certainly in their favor. They did a good job coming up with those balls that were down on the ground. Although, I mean, Bedford, they had, their 2 stars in Matthews and O'Brien. Their defense was rock solid. Despite letting up, those few quick goals from BG in the first half, they had it on lock. Their communication was solid. Their slides were there. They were doubling when they needed to, staying in it, committing to it. And overall, I was just really impressed by how they worked together as a team. And now that I've seen BG match up against Portsmouth, BG against Bedford, I think we are in for a great game next week.
I would say. And we're going to get that one going a week from tomorrow, Wednesday, May the 3rd. Looking forward to that. We'll be on the air. Not sure what time that game is. Is it a 6:30 game?
You know what? I have it on the calendar. Let's check this out. It is.
Sounds about right, but you never know.
5:30.
5:30.
5:30 game.
Okay. So a little early start, but not bad. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Our public address announcer Steve up here doing a great job in his own right. Yes, we are on the air. Give me a minute, Steve. We'll catch up. Final thoughts here, Kristen, on what was a night to remember for the Bedford Bulldogs on the girls' side and, of course, the BG Cardinals on the boys' side.
We had heavy rain conditions. I don't think either team really let it faze them. They continued to play hard.
Yeah.
We saw, there were some really strong players on the field in, the senior and junior classes from both teams. They are going to do really well at this level in the rest of the season and then at the collegiate level as well. And so I think this is the type of competitive lacrosse we want to see in New Hampshire as the sport has grown, as, now we have many more teams who can compete.
Yeah.
It's been fun to watch.
All right, want to thank Corey Parker, the athletic director here in Bedford. Of course, Bill Jennings and his crew over there, Harry, Corey, the whole 9. We appreciate them for working with us. Good to see some old friends up here in the booth. I think the MVP of the day is the man upstairs. It's Ian Maluski, our cameraman. Baptism by fire here. First month on the job, and we throw him into the middle of a monsoon on the roof. But we appreciate him gutting it out. I want to thank the sponsors, of course, Beals Insurance, MG Sports Fundraising, New Hampshire iPhone Repair, the New Hampshire Tomahawks, of course, Spectrum Monthly, and Roger Howe Real Estate, part of the Bean Group. We appreciate the ongoing support there. Reminder, Monday we're on the air, 6 o'clock Eastern, every Monday for FNL Lacrosse. Full recaps, interviews, highlights, the whole 9 yards. For our director, back in the Beals Insurance Studios, Ben Beals, the man behind the curtain, executive producer Steve Beals, Ian Maluski, my partner, Kristen Cameron. Bang-up job on short notice. Appreciate it. My name, Nick Anastas, saying so long. Final score, final time. Bishop Guertin falling to Bedford by a final of 10-8. This has been a presentation of our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week, presented by Beals.